Hi there, my name is Sam Poor, and this is my Literacy Final Beliefs project. So first I want to start with talking about how a child learns to read. So reading means constructing meaning from printed symbols arranged in regular patterns on a surface. I just thought this quote was kind of cool because I just think it's interesting how we learn how to communicate via just printed symbols on a piece of paper. And then I did some research about the stages of reading, and Matthew Lynch talks about 5 of them, which the first one he calls the emergent pre-reader, which is the initial phase of reading development where children learn sounds, words, concepts, and images. And then the second stage is the novice reader, which is the second phase of reading development where children learn letter sounds. And then the decoding reader, which is the third phase, where children are beginning to read familiar stories with increasing fluency. And then the fourth stage is the fluent reader, where readers are actually gaining knowledge from what they're reading. And then 5 is the expert reader, who reads a wide range of advanced material. And then moving on to the different frameworks of children learning to read. So the first one is phonics, which is the framework that focuses on the individual student's development of letter, sound, and recognition before enlightening them with reading and writing material. And then guided reading and guided writing mean that students who are similarly skilled are placed in small groups to learn concepts together, which I really like this one because it involves group work. And then whole language kind of combines phonics and guided reading and writing to teach while doing. So in my classroom, I would love to have a word wall, kind of like the first picture on here, with words we are learning and reading in our classroom. And I want to have a library that has comfortable seating and a wide variety of books. I found a quote that said, "Sharing lots of different kinds of or genres of books with your young readers exposes him to different words, different pictures, and whole new words." I think this is so important. In my children's literacy class a couple years ago, I learned a lot about having different kinds of books, and I definitely want to do that in my classroom. And then in the picture in the middle, it shows a small group table that I would love to have in my classroom where I can work individually or with small groups of students. And then I want my classroom to be quiet during independent reading, unless a student prefers to have headphones in, if that is available. And then during small group time, students will be able to have conversations amongst themselves and the teachers throughout to discuss like reading strategies. I believe that schedule is very important, as I pictured a little mock schedule there. But yeah, I just want to make sure students know when they are going to be doing what they're doing, and I think that that's really important. But I also think you can incorporate reading and literacy in all subjects. So I would like to do that. And involving family in the classroom. This is probably one of my favorite topics. I've always liked the idea of having some kind of literacy event for parents and students to attend together, some kind of after-school event where teachers of similar grades set up literacy stations for students and parents to get skills that they can then take home. And that goes into having parents read with their children at home, which is also very important, because the more adults read with their children, the larger their vocabularies will grow, and the more they will know and understand about the world and their place in it, assisting their cognitive development and perception. So I also want to make sure parents are updated weekly about what books we are reading in the classroom, probably through some kind of newsletter. And I also want to make sure I ask for parent volunteers to help students in literacy ways and just in any kind of way in the classroom. And with that, I think having an app or website to communicate with parents is cool. I've used Google Classroom and ClassDojo, and those have been great. So moving on to methods of instruction, I think guided reading with students in small groups where the purpose is to support the reader's building of an effective processing system and enabling them to expand their reading power over time is very important. I like doing small group work myself, so I think teaching this way will be very rewarding for myself and students. Just getting to sit down in small groups and work through different reading strategies. And then interactive writing, I think, is also really fun. Just making the writing visual to the whole class during a reading lesson allows students to work together with their peers and learn from each other, watching them stand up and write and understand what the story we're reading is saying. And then I will also be asking students to read independently during different days or different times of the week, depending on the lesson we are working on. So factoring in assessment in my classroom, I want to use running records as an interval assessment because they are descriptive ways of coding and scoring a student's level of reading, and I think that this would be great for my classroom. It allows me to give quick results to students and gives me a quick understanding of how they are doing. And I will use this just sporadically throughout the year, and it would just be between the student and I, not just away from everyone else. And then with continuous assessment, I think this is something that can happen on a day-to-day basis. In my opinion, I see this happening, me just taking notes of things I see when I'm working in small groups with students, in a whole class lesson, or just individually, just keeping a log of how their reading and literacy is going every time I help them, I think will be really good to see their progress over time and for me to understand how they learn. And I think that would only benefit me and my student with teaching them. So this has been my final project for this class. I've learned a lot and enjoyed being in the class. So I hope you enjoyed listening to my presentation, and I hope that you have a Merry Christmas and a great rest of the year. Bye!